Welcome to the Walker Valley Coaches Show. I'm Jacob Mason, joined by a special guest today, Captain, Senior Linebacker Jacob Hollingsworth. Jacob, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Awesome, man. We're glad to have you here on the show. Man, it's been an awesome year. Defense has played really, really well all year long, and you've got some guys that really, as a core unit, have just played really well together. Just kind of talk about your bond as the captain, but with just a great group of defensive players.
Man, I've had so much fun with these guys. I just feel like every day we come into practice and we just enjoy being around each other, and we just have a very strong connection. Like, most of the people on that defense, we've been playing together for a couple of years now, and I just feel like every year it's grown and just gotten more strong, and we just out there having a good time.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that you guys have a great connection, and you fly around to the football. One thing that we compliment you guys on every week is you have 11 hats of the ball. You know, I go watch other teams play that have a lot of talented players, and the thing that I see a lot is there's not a whole lot of guys rushing to where the football is, but on this Walker Valley defense, almost every play, you see 11 hats around the football. Kind of talk about what the coaches have instilled in you guys for that to be the case.
Yeah, it's every day in practice. Like, every rep in practice, they're trying to make sure that we get there, and if we don't, they're on us about it. And we just made it a goal where we all get there, and we just make sure that we all get there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, something that's been special about this defense, in my opinion, is you've got guys at every level. I mean, you've got a couple dudes on the defensive line, obviously a couple dudes at the linebacker position, and you got dudes in the back as well. Just kind of talk about, you know, some of the other leaders. Like, what's your relationship with our boy Connor Phillips? We've had him on the show before. What kind of mentality do those guys bring to the defense? Because y'all do. You seem like you play with the swag.
Yeah, man. I love Connor. We've grown a lot in the last couple of years, and I don't know. We've spent a lot of time together over the summer and stuff, working out, just hanging out, and we grew a really strong connection, and I just feel like it translated to the field. We can rely on each other, and we just love being around each other, and we can just trust each other, and we're going to make plays.
Yeah, and then so talk about, I know Leandre Hinton, it's his first year here with the program, but it looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's one of you two guys, really one of you three guys making plays down there in the front seven. Kind of talk about, we've laughed and just had a great time in the booth because he's always dancing, he's always having a good time. I'm spilling the beans over here. One game, I think it was the first game of the year, we saw him at Notre Dame trying to get on the screen where you guys watch film, and he tried to pull up Netflix towards the end of the game. So there's always something funny going on with him on the field. Kind of talk about your relationship with him.
Man, ever since the day he got here, it's just he's brought more like joy to the team, I guess. He's always doing something, making us laugh. He's just a fun guy to be around, and he's a very hard worker too. Like, he brings energy to our team that we already had, but he just made it even more.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've had a nick for finding the football. Early on in the year, we gave Coach a hard time because you had a couple bounce off your hands. Now we're back-to-back weeks. Week 1, you had a pick six. Or 2 weeks ago, you had a pick six, and then last week you had another pick. Kind of talk about, like, your feeling for the pass game and how it just kind of seems natural to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like ever since I was playing JV, they just throw me the ball. Like, I can just sit in a window. And I don't know, they just throw it to me, but I don't know what it is. I've always enjoyed just finding the ball and making a play on the ball, and it's just one of the things I like to do.
Well, we're deep into a playoff run. We're going into round 3. Kind of talk about how special that is. It's something that I don't know. I'm going to have to check with coaches. I don't know that it's ever been done in Walker Valley history. We're going into round 3. But how special of a time it's been, because it seems like you guys have just – this whole year just kind of put the defense on your back and said, hey, we're going to bend, but we're not going to break, and we're not going to give up very much. What's that mean as a senior here at Walker Valley to do something that just hasn't been done?
It means a lot to me to just be where no one else has been. Like, I've been here 3 years, and we've never had anything like this. So it's cool. It's cool being in school and just feeling everybody, just like the atmosphere, knowing that everyone's excited about what's going on. And it's just a cool place to be right now.
Absolutely. So Clinton this week, doing a little scouting. They've got a dude at the quarterback position, got some good wide receivers. What's been the overall message, without spilling any kind of beans, what's been the overall message about this week and this team that you're going to go face?
We've heard that they have a really good quarterback. They have a lot of great athletes, and we're just going to have to make plays in the secondary and just contain the quarterback, really.
Well, Jacob, thank you so much for joining us, man. We're excited to cheer you on this Friday, and it's been really fun getting to call you this season and getting to call it on the radio for all the listeners and the people that have gotten to see you in person as well. You're a special player, and we've enjoyed having you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Welcome back to the Walker Valley Coaches Show. I am Jacob Mason, joined by Coach Ashby. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, Coach. It's been a historic season. We've had a great year as the Walker Valley Mustangs. Kind of just talk about the vibe of the team going into week 3. I mean, you've had a great run, 8-win season. Now we're up to 10 wins. Just talk about just the overall year and the vibe around the team going into Clinton this week.
Oh, man. Energetic. That's one thing I will say. Me and Coach Harvey laugh about it all the time, but this is a team that we legit go have fun at practice with. I mean, they will make you laugh from the time they're stretching, but between the whistles, they're doing what they're supposed to do and being coached up really well. And that's what I like more about them than anything, man. And it's like, even today, we went out for our first third-round playoff practice, and you would think it's the first game of the season. They're ready to go, and they're very energetic and fun group to be around.
Well, I've been a big fan of the Walker Valley defense for a couple years now. You know, something that we talked about. It's just a smash mouth, get to the football type defense. But even this defense just seems a little special. You know, in years past, we've always been able to say, oh, Eli didn't this, Eli didn't that. This is a complete defense with 9 to, let's be honest, you got 12, 15 dudes that are rotating in there that are just absolute dogs. Just kind of talk about what it's been like to coach that specific group of guys.
Oh, man, I remember, gosh, it was 4 years ago, and Coach Harvey got the job up here, and he called me, and he was like, man, let's look at this Walker Valley job. And I was like, Walker Valley? I was like, man, they give up so many points and all that. And then we got here, and we seen the talent we've had. I mean, for me in the back end, you got to think, I know Braxton broke the record, but I coached Lane Miller and Spencer Jackson, and just such a talented place, and we finally put it together. I mean, from the front, like you said, from the front to the back, D-line, I can start with Eli Cross and Connor Phillips and Jack Shantz, and then linebackers, of course, you just had one on, and then DB-wise, I mean, Braxton Smith breaking the record, Tyron Forte is very athletic, and Joe Sy literally ran a 4.53 at a camp at Cumberland. I mean, we're all good tacklers. I think that's the difference in this year and what we've had in a long time, even when we were at Sequatchie and Stone together, Coach Harvey and I, we tackle on all levels. You get to the second level, boom, we got you on the ground. You get to the third level, you know, Forte or Mason or Joe or Braxton's got you on the ground. And guess what? You got to snap it again. And when you do that, high school teams have a hard time putting stuff together. And that's what we teach them all the time. It's like, guys, make them snap it again. If you play harder than they do, eventually something's going to go right for us, in which it has all year. But that's it, man. We're great tacklers at all levels. And that's the difference in this year and what we've had in the past is, I mean, no matter where you get on our defense, we're more than likely going to get you on the ground. So,
yeah, you talked about Braxton. You know, I tried to get him to play in middle school. I coached him in baseball. I said, man, you'd be a heck of a football player. And he's like, Coach, I may one day. So when I came out and finally saw him on the field, I was like, dude. And I knew from the moment he put that jersey on, he's one of the hardest working kids I've ever coached. And on top of that, you know, I knew that he would have a knack for finding the football, but this year has kind of been, in my opinion, his coming out party. He's not afraid to lay the wood.
Oh, my gosh. We actually joked about it today. It's funny you bring that up. I was like, Braxton, remember how bad you were at tackling 2 years ago as a sophomore? And so, funny story about Braxton. Braxton actually was at cross-country practice. I don't know if you've ever heard the story. He didn't want to play football.
Dad told me a bit of it.
Yeah, so he didn't even want to play football. He's at cross-country during the summer, and he was like, Coach, we were running. He's like, I'm not doing this. And we laughed. He's like, I seen y'all practicing football, and he's like, I went home and told my dad, you know, hey, I want to play football. And he's like, my dad was more excited than I was. And then, man, I'm very blessed to have him. I really am. And like you said, he's become more of an overall better around player this year. Like you said, laying the wood. I mean, at McMinn County, he was just making great tackles at the line of scrimmage and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've kind of got to, you know, help me out here. I know Zeke has played a little bit of everything. You got a guy like Zeke that can drop back and play safety, but he also plays. Is he predominantly a linebacker now?
Yes. We try to keep him in the box as much as we can. He's the best kid we got at seeing run-throughs with the way our defense plays. We got to have that backside backer that can really run through backside A when we need him to, and Zeke's best at that. So we try to keep Zeke in the box. Honestly, that's where he's going to stay for a good time.
Well, one thing that I have to give you guys credit on is you're so good at adapting. I mean, you think about this playoff run in general. We look at round one, and we have an air raid team. Mm-hmm. And we made great halftime adjustments. They come out and, scored 6 points, 7 points?
Yes.
Then you go and play a completely different team in LC. A team that's probably 70-30 run, has a dude at the running back position, and you seem to really contain him well. I had a friend on the sideline at LC said, man, Walker Valley's defense is just suffocating. That was the word that he used, was suffocating. Talk about just your preparation as a staff, how you guys take so much pride in being able to really face whatever's coming on that football field.
It all starts. It's our coaching background. I mean, it really is. Coach Harvey and I, we've been around greats. Mark Wattenbarger and then Adam Kane, which is at Upperman now, doing great things. And we've seen how those guys are, and that's what we've took advantage of. So when we watch film, believe it or not, we're actually very multiple on defense. I mean, it looks like we're a 3-3 stack a lot, but we're slanting, we're moving our coverage, and then we're blitzing from all different areas, and it's hard to pick up. But one thing that, we learned from Kane and Coach Watt is, man, just find somebody's weakness, and that's what we do. I think we do a great job of. If you're weak out at the number one receivers, most of the time we're not even going to guard that guy. If you're weak up front, we're going to stack the box and we're going to make you throw the ball and so on and so forth. And that's what we got last week with Lenore. We had 9 people at the line of scrimmage, pretty much 10, and we were like, okay, throw the football to beat us. And so that's every Sunday we walk in, and me and Coach Harvey, we get there about 11 o'clock, and we start grinding, and we start, all right, man, they're not very good. Their weakness is here. So we try to expose that. And that's what we've done a good job with, and since we've been together. But we've learned from the best, man. I mean, it is what it is. Coach Kane is doing a great job at Upperman. Coach White had a tremendous career, and it's just what we took, and now we're doing our own thing with it. So.
Well, you can see how it's evolved over the years since you guys have been here, just continuing to get better and better. And then, the storm has just all collided, and you've got a great defensive personnel here on the football field. You've got a great defensive staff. We talked about LC for a minute. We said, you're able to suffocate them, put 9 in the box. You've got a big challenge having to face going on the road to Clinton this week. Definitely have a guy at the quarterback position, got some athletic wide receivers out wide. Just kind of talk about what your mentality is going to be without telling us too much. Obviously, we don't want you to spill the game plan here on Monday, but just kind of talk about what you guys as a staff are doing to prepare for such a high-powered guy down there in Clinton.
Oh, man, I got to give credit. Clinton's got athletes all over. The quarterback's such a great player. They got a receiver that's committed to Purdue. They got 2 6'5" receivers that they don't look fast on film, but you notice they're always behind people. And that's what when we showed them film today, we're like, guys, there's a reason they're always behind. They must be faster than we think. And, we got some wrinkles and we got some stuff that we hope that we can take advantage of. But it's just going to be hard to stop them. Not too many people have all year. They're always getting around that 20-something points per game. They're always kind of ending up in a shootout. So if we can limit their big plays, that's something big that we got to do this week. I mean, they big play people. I mean, their kids are going up in double coverage and just making plays over people. So we got to limit that. And I give credit when credit's due, man. There's a reason they're one of the final 8 teams left. They're very athletic. They're well coached. I think they do a good job on both sides of the ball, especially up front at that wide receiver position. So it should be a great game, and that's what we're looking forward to. It's supposed to be, right? There's 8 teams left. There's no more slouches, so it should be a fun Friday night.
Well, absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an honor getting to call y'all's games this year on the radio here on Sports 99.1. I love defense. I'm a huge defensive guy. I don't know if you've ever heard me and Andy talk about it. He talks about the offense, and I talk about the defense, and it's a lot of fun watching you guys go out there and play on the football field.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Me and Coach Harvey are always like, hey, Coach Akins, can we come down and talk today? And he don't ever let us come. So
Hey, the problem with Coach Akins is you can literally just say, hey, Coach, how was your day? And about 10 minutes later goes around that clock, and he's still talking. So we always know we're going to have a good, long interview if he's here. But yes, we enjoyed having you here, and we enjoyed getting to talk to you and Jacob on the defensive segment. And good luck this Friday night with Clinton.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Welcome back to another edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show. I'm Andy Morris, along with head coach Drew Akins and Walker Valley quarterback Evan Schwarzl as well. So once again, a huge thanks to Wholesale Supply Group for being our sponsor. They are open to the public. And Coach, it's state quarterfinals week.
That's cool to hear.
First time in school history, Walker Valley playing football in the third round of the playoffs. Just kind of tell me, where's your head at right now?
Back in January, we set goals. We set things that we wanted to accomplish, and really we're a goals-driven program. So we set goals, and then we say, hey, everything we do over the next, in this case, 11 months, is to accomplish these goals. So when it gets hard in June and it's we come back from dead period and we put you through a week that a lot of teams are going to quit and a lot of people would quit, you focus on these goals because we're doing this to accomplish these goals. And we set 3 of them. We set a goal to win the region and pulled that off a couple weeks ago at McMinn. Found a way to win. It was really a piece that I feel like drove our team into where we are today. We gained a lot of confidence from that win and the way we won that game. And then we set a goal that we wanted to be above 500 at home. If you remember last year, we were 1-4 and just couldn't find a way to win here at home. And obviously we've had completely turned that around to where we're 7-1 at home at this point. So that was really exciting. And then we set the goal to make the quarterfinals. And when we did that goal in January, I was like, man, that's a really lofty goal. Like, that's something that's never been done here. We don't really know who our team is right now. We don't know how good we're going to be. But that's what we set our goal to. And these guys have worked their tail off to get to this point. And for us to accomplish all 3 goals was huge. And it's really exciting to be in this place where we're one of the top 8 teams in the state, and we're one of 8 teams left playing, and that's a really cool place to be for this football team. But we're not done yet, and we're not ready to be done yet. So today we went in and we reset our goals. Like I said, we like being driven by goals. So we reset goals to say, hey, we accomplished the things we wanted to accomplish, but we're not ready to be done yet. So let's reset and refocus and put new goals out in front of us to go reach.
And so as you're saying these things, I'm kind of looking over at Evan as you hear Coach kind of rehashing where it all started, setting those goals, the process of, I know I'm up here during the summer and I drive by the football field and you're out there in the morning getting after it. Take yourself back, Evan, once again, senior quarterback Evan Schwarzl with us, to those summer workouts, the weight room, to where we are now. Like, what has that process been like for you?
Yeah, it's going through the physical stuff to get through the mental stuff. We do all the horrible weeks and just really miserable, but
putting yourselves through some adversity.
Yeah, facing adversity. So now we're in the season where we've hit adversity. Time and time again. This past week hitting adversity and just I genuinely believe going through it early on, learning how to deal with it then really shows us how to deal with it now, and we're rolling through it. So
absolutely.
Yes.
And a big part of the success has been you, Evan. I want to be the first to say it. I know Coach Akins gives you your props on the show, so we're glad that we can get you on the show. But talk about the guys that help you be successful specifically on that front line.
I mean, it's to say like specifically is it's kind of a term. It's all of them, every single one of them. Tate to every Farley to Barry. Barry's the go-to guy. Like when something's, when we pop off, it's because of Barry and Tate, and it's hard to point out, individuals because they just work together. They go through it, everything together. It's just so it's hard to pick out one guy when they all. I get hit late. They're all 5 coming to protect me. They're very passionate, with protecting me. So
that's a good quarterback answer right there, Coach.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. Over the last 3 weeks. We have a weekly goal. Again, we're goal setting program. We have a weekly goal to say, hey, we're going to protect the quarterback and we're going to protect the football. And what you've noticed over these last 3 weeks where we've really been very successful offensively is that we're doing just that. Evan has not been sacked more than once in a game in the last 3 weeks. He's done a great job of protecting the football throughout the whole entire season, but especially these last 3 weeks. So anytime you win the turnover battle the way we're winning it, that's a huge part. But the huge part is I believe protecting the quarterback is an entire team thing. It's not just one person. It's not just the offensive line. It takes everybody to protect the quarterback. And they've done a great job of that over the last 3 weeks. And because of that, I think you've seen some really big plays out of our offense over the last 3 weeks.
Evan, I know Coach Akins has talked about how much you guys are on the same page. Even like in certain situations going back 2 weeks ago when he tells you to do something, you said, Coach, it's all right, I got it. Even though you didn't do exactly what he was wanting you to do. Coach had some fun with that on the show. But kind of talk about your and Coach Akins' relationship as far as like, just you being comfortable in his offense.
Right. I mean, it's off the field things. It's that, he's a father figure. Genuinely, I'm not just saying that because he's right here. Like, he's a father figure to me. So moving up here, it was me and my mom. And we just went through, just me and her, just me and her. My dad also helped, not saying. But I needed someone to look to, and he played that part. So it's not just on the field that, we click. It's off the field. We check on each other very often. It's an everyday thing almost that, we're communicating. And, communicating off the field definitely helps on the field because we understand each other. We know each other. He doesn't yell at me because I'm a kid that, doesn't – that's just not how he coaches me because he just understands that. And so he's like, all right, you know what you did? Go fix it. And we communicate very well. We don't even have to talk to communicate necessarily. It's just kind
read
of,
that body language
right,
sometimes.
and understanding each
Yeah,
other.
he'll hit me with a thumbs up every now and then. It's like, hey, I know you don't have to say anything. I got it.
I already know what you're thinking.
That's always cool to see.
So one more thing that I want to ask you, Evan, and I hope you're able to stick around and do some film breakdown with us as well. But we talked about your O-line. We've talked about your development and stuff, specifically last week, seeing you both facets of the game, throwing the football early in the game, being able to run the football and change the game completely. Let's talk about your receivers for a second. I'll be honest, coming into this year, I knew Roman Yulo. And outside of that, I didn't know much about the McCooch brothers. I didn't know much about Brady Stack. Talk about the comfort you have and the work that you've put in with your receivers to be successful this year.
Right. We stay every day after and just throw and throw and throw. And, I mean, we're not necessarily throwing routes. We're just sitting there, we'll just talk. We'll just talk about life. And so it's, once again, the off-the-field relationship connecting to on-field relationship. So Hudson, he's really, we talk about life a lot. So, but no, he's just a dude, and we're just going to get the ball in his hands, and he's going to go make plays, and he's consistent, and it's just what we're going to do. And, when East Hamilton, hate to go back to that time, but we didn't have Roman. And so we were, missing a spot so they could, kind of play, with Hudson, and it ended up, getting us in a bind, and, Roman comes back, and then we start to explode again. So it's a community thing. They're selfless.
A unit effort.
Yes, they're selfless. When one guy succeeds, we all celebrate. When say two guys succeed, if they're blocking for each other, they're blocking for because they love each other. It's not it's really special to see that. And then it's also cool to throw a 1 yard route and they take it 50.
Absolutely,
so
makes you look good on the stat sheet, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and again, you went back to that East Ham game. That's one that Coach Akins has said, man, I wish we would have done this different. I wish we could go back and do that. How much has that game driven you guys, not just to win a region championship going into McMahon on the road as well, but throughout this playoffs?
Just absolutely woke us up. Absolutely. We got way too comfortable, way too cocky. It was not us playing that game, and then their, arrogance and cockiness and nastiness overwhelmed us, and we're like, maybe we're not as nasty as, we think. So it was really a wake-up call, and, since then we've been playing ball.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your honesty on that, and I know the listeners do too. So at this point in the show, we're going to go to Coach Akins' film breakdown, and if you're watching on TV, obviously on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're a listener on Sports 99.1, you can go to WCLE's YouTube channel and watch Coach Akins' film breakdown. We're high-tech here at Walker Valley, thanks to Mr. Ethan Evers. So, Coach, I'm going to go ahead and let you get us into film breakdown.
Ethan does a great job, man. I'm really happy. Nobody knows how much Ethan Evers does here, so really impressed by Ethan and everything he does for us. But this is a cool thing to jump into. Talking about the other night, our defense came out and set the tone. Lenore City's done such a great job. That quarterback that they have, number 3, he's been so dynamic and so explosive. So we knew it was going to be a great challenge for us. Our defensive staff just such an unbelievable job. I know I say it every week, but every week they come up with such a good plan to put their guys in good situations. And their players went and executed a great plan the other night. And from the start, we knew, and you and I kind of talked about it, if we can get up by a couple scores, that we're going to put them in a situation where they're very uncomfortable. So from the start, this is – early in the game, they did these shifts. You can tell right now our guys know exactly where to go. Boom, they get lined up. That's the first thing I noticed when I watched this clip is they go from an ultra heavy set into a 4-wide set. And our players don't freak out. They don't get anxious. They get lined up exactly where they're supposed to be lined up and go play ball. So you see them put the ball in the quarterback's hands. Connor Phillips, you can see from this angle, so good.
All day
so
long,
Connor,
man.
Every game. It never fails. That kid's making plays. So Connor is right here in the middle of your screen. So I'm going to get the laser pointer out. Connor's going to end up right here as this play develops. He's right here. So the quarterback's going to do a run. He gets double teamed and pushes the double team back into the quarterback. So at this point, there's no real run lane. He bounces out to the left, and I'm going to go well, I don't have the last view. I thought I had it on there. To the last view of that, and what you'll see is Zeke's able to come in from the outside over here to the left side of your screen. You're going to see Zeke come in late. He's playing this outside backer, but again, Connor Phillips spills it, makes it bounce out to Zeke. Zeke comes in, makes a hit, causes the fumble. Noah Jones, who's come on defensively, such big defensive snaps for Noah Jones. Early in the year he was at running back a ton, and with Tanner coming back, the need for him on defense just got so big that we had to have him over there. What a great job by that kid, and him being able to go recover the fumble, set us up early to go down and get that field goal early on in the game. So that was a really huge start to the game. Evan goes down and gets the load touchdown. That's a new set we've had. I'll let him talk a little quickly about the load set, but we put him in that set that you've seen for 3 or 4 years now. We kind of got away from it this year because we were doing so well with running back run, but felt like here later in the year we want to put the ball in his hands as much as we can. And that load set, he was able to score 2 touchdowns on. So I know Evan is super comfortable in that load set, running behind those guys.
Yeah, I'm just super it's nasty yards, but it's not necessarily, I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the strongest guy, but it's just a mentality that I'm going to go get it. And so that's kind of what drives me. And, luckily enough, I went and, proved that I was going to go get it. And so just getting it in my hands in short yardage situations like that is, I'm going to go get it. That's just my mentality.
So running with confidence, which is something that we can absolutely tell when you have the ball in your hand, that flip or that switch is flipped and you're going. So I don't know if you know this or not, but in years past, Coach Akins had guys like Griffin Broom and Heath Tanksley coming in those situations. And again, for you as a head coach, that's got to be a huge comfort being able to leave your quarterback in there to do that.
And something you've seen out of us over the last few weeks is where it's 4th and 1. Like, we're going in load set, and he's touching the ball. If it's down inside the 5, we're going in the load set, and he's touching the ball. So it all goes back to the same mentality that I've been talking about for weeks now. We're going to put the ball in his hands, and we're going to trust that he's going to go make a play.
Gives you some options off of that, too.
And now we can throw. Where years past, we had Tucker Owenby, who was a great athlete, scored a bunch of touchdowns, but we never really had a pass threat out of it. Now we have a legitimate pass threat. So speaking of running ability, this is a play. I'm going to just go straight to the drone shot of this. This is a play we've put in over the last few weeks. It's just a quarterback draw. We get into this empty set, and teams are just emptying the box. And when you empty the box against this set, it leaves 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in the box. And that really puts us in a great running situation with 5 blockers plus the quarterback run. So we're just trying to look at numbers at this point. Hey, the numbers say there's 4 in the box and you can get quarterback run, so we're going to go to it. But what a huge play by Evan here. We did a little change up on our protection here. We slid to the field, and you see Barry coming around, picks up the backer. Great job by Evan finding that. I thought my man was gone here. Did you think you were gone?
Yeah, he's closed on me pretty
He
quick.
closed on quicker than we expected. Huge run play, 40-yard run play. I texted Evan on Saturday. I said, man, you rushed for more yards than number 3 rushed for, and he threw for more yards than you threw for. Is there a more backwards 2 stats that you can imagine? But the kid just went and made plays, man. It's a huge run play for us to get us set up for Evans. That turned into Evans' second rushing touchdown down there. So right out of halftime, it's 17-3 coming out of halftime. We had a rough second quarter, made some really poor calls at coaching that put us in some bad spots. Didn't execute great in the second quarter. So we go into halftime and pretty much say, hey, guys, like, we've got to go have a great drive here. And this is one of the best runs that you'll see from us all year. Tate does a great job getting a kick out. Riley Myers, man, I can't say enough about what Riley's done this year, moving from tackle to guard. His ability in there has really shown. Caleb Kelly, downfield blocking. You can see him all the way, 10 yards downfield, getting a block on the linebacker, and then having Tanner back to himself. You really see Tanner had kind of a breakout game. 10 rushes, 86 yards, and a touchdown. But this angle is the one you can see really well. Boom, boom. Man, look at that hole that Tanner's able to run through. So now Tanner has a huge run lane, and with that kid's ability, it's really difficult to get him on the ground. So really good to see Tanner getting back to himself. He's had a great couple weeks, and we're excited to get him in the end zone. But this is a huge touchdown in this moment because this puts us up by 3 scores. And with their offense, man, it's really difficult to come back after 3 scores.
Absolutely. Coach, you pointed out getting to the second level with your offensive line. Is that something that you specifically with those guys spend time on? Like, hey, listen, we need you when the hat's unaccounted for and you're standing there, get down. Like, how do you coach that?
Yeah, well, listen, man, we totally changed our scheme. And, going back to last year, we ran a completely different run scheme. And we got in the offseason, we said, hey, man, this new scheme really fits our players so much better. So we studied our tails off. I mean, really, really studied North Dakota State. They're such a great program when it comes to running power. So we really looked into what they were doing. We bought all kinds of clinic film, just having tape. We watched tape relentlessly over the offseason and watch some of the stuff they do and how they coach it. The second level blocks becomes completely an effort and willingness thing to do. And man, our offensive line is just willing right now. They're willing to do exactly what we ask them to do. But there's techniques to it, and there's things that we've coached them. It's all about your eyes, it's all about your effort, and it's all about your technique. And our guys, you can tell, are kind of buying into that technique, and that's what led to a lot of rushing yards the other night. So right after that, so we kick it off. We get a great kickoff, get him down inside the 20. They come out. Jacob, for the second week in a row, is able to undercut. Man, how good did that quarterback do of scrambling around and finding a way to buy time? So, we're doing a great job of pressuring. We get a lot of pressure, kind of hem him in, and Jacob's able to make a play to get us back on the field. So within, 5 plays at halftime, we've already scored once. We have an interception, and right out of the interception, we said, hey, if we get the ball back, we're going to take a shot. So we knew, hey, if we get the ball back here and they haven't scored, we're going to take a shot. Whether we get it back with a punt, get it back with an interception, a turnover, or just get it back on downs, we're going to go take a shot here. And right out of the gate, and I'm going to kind of let Evan talk through this pass play, but you've seen this pass play before. We changed the protection, so we tried to do this in the second quarter and weren't able to because we called it a poor protection. But this time we go into Stanford Cardinal, which is a more max protection for us. And Evan makes a great throw here, but I'll let him kind of talk through where his eyes are and what he's looking at on this.
Yeah, so I'm watching. I'm not the tallest quarterback, so I kind of get. I'll shuffle right a little bit as I take my 3, and it's really just reading Hudson's body language. Like I said, we've practiced hitting the post, and we just trust it, and that's kind of I just saw he broke off on his feet, and he got him squared up, and if Hudson gets you squared up, he's gonna leave you, and so I just
Evan, one thing that Coach Akins has told us on the coaches show and during post-game interviews is that these routes aren't always predetermined, that he allows you guys to kind of communicate with each other and you see coverage and you pretty much know what your receivers are going to do. How often does that factor in, specifically on these post routes that we've seen you just dropping dimes on all year?
Yeah, I mean, me and Hudson, like, if we like the matchup, we go post. If we like the matchup, we go post. Because, I mean, it's hard. It's a really hard route to guard. You know, we have it cleared out, and then it's just all that field and Hudson. And so we'll work it, you know, really far inside, or we'll work it vertical. And I personally, he's so fast. And, you know, when they're in a man coverage like this that they have to be in because he's so deep and we're dropping everybody else, you know, working that wide throw, he's just running away from the defender. And it makes it pretty easy to throw.
What I'm most impressed, and this is kind of speaks to everything we've been talking to. You know, these guys really building relationships. They understand what each other are doing. When you watch this clip, man, this ball is getting out of Evan's hands before, and it's hard to see, it's just off the screen. But that ball is getting out of his hands before Hudson's even out of his route, and that's just two guys that understand what each other are gonna do. They understand the scheme. They trust the scheme. They trust what they're doing. That ball's out of his hand and flying before Hudson even gets out of his break. Great pass, and really that's kind of the dagger. You know, Tanner's run was kind of getting the knife out. This one is kind of the dagger that took their breath away and took any chance that they had to come back. So that's a really cool play. Really excited for Hudson. He's had a huge year. 9 touchdown catches on the season, up over 600-700 yards receiving on the year. So it's been a huge thing, and just the way our guys celebrate with each other is really cool. It's been really fun to watch. Last two plays here. One, again, we get pressure on the quarterback, makes a mistake, throws it to Zeke. That's Zeke's third interception on the season. Most interceptions on the team right now. And just, again, our guys celebrating with each other. And then the last touchdown pass. This is one of those things that you like, you know, we keep saying we're going to put the ball in Evan's hands and we're going to let him go make plays. And it's not exactly always how you draw it up on the board, but it always, or here lately, it seemed to just kind of work out. This is the same pass play that we've been running now for several weeks. You know, Hudson's going to go sit. Yulo's going to go on the corner, and you're going to have either the back or a wide back in the flat, and just trying to flood this area of the field. And they do actually a really good job covering this initially. You can see they had Hudson covered here, and they got Tate covered low. Malachi does a great job of staying between the blocker and him. Evan sees space and just kind of throws it to space. Roman goes and makes a play on it. So great play by Roman, great play by Evan, and really just a great job by our team. That was his team win as we've had this season. All three phases, just going out and dominating a football game, and that's fun to see your team do that at this point of the year. It's a really cool thing to see.
Absolutely, and that's how you got to get it done in the playoffs. So once again, a big second round win for our Mustangs over Lenoir City last week. So let's jump ahead to this week. Obviously, there was a lot of conversation, a lot of debate on this. We're traveling. We're on the road. Again, this wasn't always a thing, but I believe the board kind of voted it. Once you get to the quarterfinals, and when I say the board, the Board of Admins, TSSAA, when you get to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, they rotate odd years between regions, as long as you're not in the same region, obviously. So it just happens to be the year where our region is on the road. So let's talk about going up to Clinton, being a region champ, facing a team that got third, but a team that has talent as well, although they were third in their region.
Yeah, they got talent all over the place. You know, one of the reasons they were third in their region is because the second, third place game, they didn't have their most talented player, their quarterback, who a ton of their offense goes through their quarterback. He didn't play in that game. So a lot of their offense completely changed that game. They just weren't able to get the ball in the end zone. They lost the game 14-7. That probably with that quarterback it changes. So you're really looking at the second best team in that region during the season, and then after the season, in the postseason, they go and beat the number 1 seed.
They avenge a previous loss in the year.
Previous loss in the year. So they finished third in their region, but they also came back last week and they beat the region champion. So we got a great football team that we got to go face. We're excited to go face them, whether it's the 1 seed or the 3 seed or wherever it is. We don't really care where it is. We're ready to go play football, and our guys have done a great job of not letting that affect their mentality, affect what they want to go get done. They just want to go play football and be successful and give us a chance to be one of the top 4 in the state after next Friday.
And Coach, you touched on it talking about Clinton's quarterback. Couple weeks in a row now, we've seen a team that has exceptional play at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
What kind of challenge? I believe he's number 3 as well. What kind of challenge does number 3 present for your defense?
Yeah, man, he's a talented kid. He's a Division I commitment. He's committed to go play football at UT Martin. Really, really talented athlete. He throws the ball really well. I think a lot of people will just say, he just kind of runs around and makes plays. But when you watch him throw the ball, man, he throws a really good ball. He throws a tight spiral, and they believe that he's the best football player on the field. And they do similar to us, where they're just going to put the ball in his hands and let the kid go make plays. And he does, and he did last week. They're winning ball games. You go watch the McMinn game. They had 3 explosive pass plays, and that's what won them the ball game. If they don't hit those explosive plays, they probably don't win. But it's because that quarterback is going out there and making plays. So we've got to do a great job defensively of hemming him in and make sure that he doesn't have space to work. And then on the back end, we got to make sure when he does start to scramble that we're able to lock on to receivers and don't let them catch wide open passes because of scramble drill. Evan did a great job today and will do a great job throughout this week preparing our guys by scrambling around and keeping his eyes downfield and making throws. That's something we have to work this week, and Evan's going to be the kid to do that. Evan may win Scout Team Player of the Week this week because he has to go show our defense that look. So he's a really talented kid, and we're going to have to – and not only is he very talented, but he's got some receivers that are very talented too. So we're going to have to make sure that we're locked in defensively and cover the pass really well.
Coach, I'm excited about the matchup, and you talk about Evan being potential Scout Team Player of the Week. That just I want to pump you up a little bit while we have you here. One thing throughout the entire season when Jacob and I, or Matt and I are broadcasting the games, we just talk about your poise, your comfort in the offense, how much your decision-making from just a year ago to now has developed. And I feel like your best football is still ahead of you, and that's scary. So, Evan, I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know how proud of you, not just we are, but everyone out there in One Valley country. It's been a fun ride, and really the past couple of years has been awesome. So
yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're pumped to see you keep it rolling and hopefully get us to a Final Four here after Friday night. So, Coach, go into details for the game Friday night at Clinton on the road, start time, all the information. And really, we want the Mustang fans to travel to Clinton. We want to pack that place out.
Yeah, it's Knoxville, but it's just outside of Knoxville. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive, so it's not terrible. It starts at 7 o'clock. The unique thing about this is that the high school stadium is not at the high school. It's at a community center in town, a few miles away from the high school. So the stadium is actually at the Clinton Community Center. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. And you can just type in Clinton Community Center, and it'll pop up on your Google Maps. It'll take you straight to it. 101 South Hicks Street is the address. So
it's a man who's on top of everything right there. He knows the address already.
7 o'clock, the website to buy tickets will be on our social media, so you can already have your ticket bought. Go to the community center. The away side extends the entire length of the away side. So really excited to get up there and pack that away side up and make it home game. They have bleachers in the end zone. That's where our band's going to be. So it'll feel really close to to home. So just excited to go up there and continue to play football. This group has been really special to be a part of. And for us to still be so excited to be together kind of tells you the chemistry and the love that we have for each other, and we're not ready for it to be done. So we're going to take it up to Clinton and again, try to get to a competitive game in the fourth quarter and find a way to win. And if we do that, we reach another goal that we've set. So excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, let's keep checking those goals off, Coach. So once again, 7 o'clock from Clinton Community Center, correct? Mm-hmm. Right outside, just northwest of Knoxville, I believe. Be sure to come out, support your Mustangs, be loud. It's really an exciting point, making history at Walker Valley High School. Yep. Things that we've never done before, continue to do it. So, Evan, we appreciate you joining us, Coach. As always, good to see you again. And with that, that's been your Walker Valley Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wholesale Supply Group. One Valley Mustangs.